Hello. Time to continue the trial with tigres. Hey, I gotta make this bigger.
That's cute.
You're cute.
You're cute.
Hmm.
So we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand?
Yeah.
We almost got this case won now, Nick.
I wish I could agree.
Huh?
When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth.
So in other words, it does now, questioning his own person's credibility. You mean you think Mr. Armstrong was lying?
I don't know, but if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble.
I get the feeling Godot's like backup plan is just destroying his own witnesses.
Yeah, I guess so. I get the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need.
Hey, pal.
Detective Gumshoe.
What are you so jumping about, Detective? Your hair's standing on end. Hey, that's a pot calling the kettle black, little Miss Top Knot. It's not a top knot.
Never mind about the hair, just calm down, alright?
I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do, pal. I get kinda wound up. Ugh.
No kidding.
You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything.
Well,
Hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I can get some prints analyzed for you if you got an hour.
an hour? The trial will have reconvened by then.
But Nick, we still have a really decisive piece of evidence, right?
True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag, we're really stuck. You said you could get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour?
You bet, pal.
In that case, could you mind checking the prints on this? The bottle?
My badge.
On my badge. On my fake badge. Nah, I'm joking. Listen. If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on these?
Oh hey, that small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right?
Yeah, I think it's time we solved the last mystery of who the prints on it belong to.
Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been gnawing at me too.
Small bottle given to Detective Gumshoe.
Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away, pal. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. Oh yeah, whose prints are on it if Armstrong didn't know what it was?
Yeah. This is pretty much a final showdown, I guess.
It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. You did an incredible job of covering up his thing. I mean, we even believed Armstrong was the murderer for a bit.
Yeah. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this furry tigre? I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job. No problem. Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tigre, but come on. He's pretty lively.
After being tamed.
Be careful, he still bites. Very
What's
well.
up, punk?
Very well, please show Mr. Tigre to the stand.
You're just so angry.
Witness, please state your... Don't hide under the table, Maya. Unless there's room for me down there, too. Would you mind...
What do you say to me?
Nothing. I didn't say nothing. Honest. Who would have guessed? Could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent, the judge.
I got business to take care of. You hear me? So who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky?
No, of course not. It was the judge. What?
The judge head.
Your Honor? Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth is it? Don't mind me, just carry on with the proceedings as normal. That's it. We're doomed.
Maybe you didn't hear me. I said, who the hell was it that called me in here?
There's no need to shout. We can all hear you.
What'd you say?
There's no point struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that hauled you in. Too cool.
Don't let him get the better of you, Nick. I see you're not afraid of my gang of lawyers, punk. My gang of lawyers. We're gonna push you around. You're talking about the snare of the law. I'll show you the snare of the law. This guy's really stupid, junk.
And go on a ride with a pink scooter. Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct?
Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, mass boy.
You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird?
Maggie who? I got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas, pal.
Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder.
Phoenix Wright. You was the one who set this up, didn't you? You was gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying?
Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. Ooh.
Get a grip, Nick.
The tiger's alibi.
I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all the time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from Tenderlender every single day. You want to check my alibi? Just ask Violetta.
Ah, at least I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Was it? Please witness if you could refrain from shouting out like that.
I know the kind of games that guy in blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details till he wins. That's a lawyer.
A lowlife, me?
Listen up, Smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to this case, I'ma bill you $50,000, and you's gonna borrow the cash from me.
That's one loan contract I refuse to sign.
And don't think you ain't gonna get hurt when you tangle with the tiger.
Ha! I love a good spectator sport. Just a minute, that's really not. This witness is, how can I put it, a hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side and he'll bite everyone's head off. Yours too. Very well, I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here.
Yous better be listening, cause I got business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus.
The court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of witness testimony. Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor.
You can do it, Nick.
Come out from under the table already, would you, Maya? It's a clown all over again.
Oh god, here we go.
I gotta find out what I can and cannot press.
If you press anything wrong, he's just gonna scream at you.
I don't buy that you haven't heard of the incident that occurred at Tribulations.
You's got a big mouth, right? You was trying to say I wasn't on some mob hit? Is that what you was trying to say? Where's your proof then?
The evidence, yes, well...
For an attorney to make an accusation in court, he must have evidence. That's from a loan shark lawyer, a beginner's guide, yeah?
Ah, I see you're the studious type, Mr. Tigray. Very good. Huh. Why don't you ask him to represent you sometime, Trey?
Press harder, I leave it.
I was established that he was there. Can I?
I don't know. Okay, so only punish you on pressing further on the wrong statements.
Oh, okay.
So in other words, if you keep pressing and it doesn't result in anything, that's bad. Thanks for rolling a mask to mask.
Mask to mask. I'll leave it. Yeah, Tigray, would you mind repeating your testimony from the beginning, please?
My time ain't free. You hear? You's better remember that. If I miss that bus, someone's gonna pay.
Alright, don't know nothing about no murder. Was tied up with business in December last year. By Violetta. You're talking about the Catarrhini families?
Yeah, you don't want to cross them, or you's gonna wind up sleeping with the fishes. Once you got a father violence out, you's been dragging Violetta through the mud. He'll do you in.
Sorry, I couldn't put it all together towards the end there.
He said that just like Violetta, didn't he?
I have a feeling this might not be the right time to probe about her.
I even warned you not to press harder here.
Man, so which one did I press on?
I think the first one we need to prove is that he wasn't at his office, right?
Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know?
You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is, punk.
Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Caterini?
She writes everything in my scheduler. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was.
Seems like a rather sketchy schedule.
Girl.
There he goes again. I did all December isn't an issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder, so now what? Press harder. Mr. Tigre!
What do you want?
If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. This is a dead-end try, and you know it. Remember the rules. No, it's essential that we establish a witness's alibi accurately. I agree. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too?
Maybe you ain't listening. Of course I was. And I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I had never seen that young kid before.
I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could please. Mr. Tigre, the court asked you to add the last statement to your testimony. Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself. As they say in Star Wars, I've got you now. Mr. Tigre, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glen Elg, but it appears that Mr. Elg knew you.
What?
Mr. Elg left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the tiger, and the date? December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder. So, Mr. Tigre, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Glen Elg, because on the very day of the incident, you met with him.
Not bad. You was actually not bad.
Sorry?
I was just messing with you to see how good you were. Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad.
That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth. Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated.
You was calling me a liar? Is that what you doing?
Ruh-roh. So, you're saying that you claim to have never seen that kid before. Is the truth?
I said I'm dead serious. You better believe that's the truth.
Ha! Then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tigre. Oh yes, would you mind indulging the court witness? Never actually met the victim. It's gotta be a lie right there. This time I nailed this guy. The victim, Glen Elg.
I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, Tinda Linda. Waited around for him, but he ain't ever showed. I ain't ever been to that Trisby joint. You's here. What?
I see, that all seems perfectly logical. He had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor.
Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. Then I have to take the express train. The bill's going straight to you, right?
Grr. I've got you now. Hmm? Oh, two down, Tigre. Got you. Mr. Tigre, is there something to like to tell the court about these matches?
Matches? What are you talking about?
We found them in your office at Tinder Linder. They're from that restaurant. If you've really never been to Tribulations before, what was that book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk?
You've been snooping around in my stuff too now, wise guy. What are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad control of me, punk.
Order, order. Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you?
I can change my testimony as many times as I want.
Sorry, I'm terribly sorry. Forgive me.
I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day.
What?
But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid.
Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elk that day. And he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. At Tribulations.
I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cops' sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office.
I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Well, Mr. Ray, cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor.
Hold it! If I wait here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions.
Ha! No problem. Anytime Tripe presses you on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays a penalty. But Mr. Godot, that's my job. Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict.
Why do all the prosecutors just try and do the judge's job?
I don't know. So do it. Yes, sir.
The chains, the special express ain't cheap, right? So just use no since you payin'.
Oh man, doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? Ba-dum, bum, bum. Ba-dum, bum, bum.
They got more shirts with you now.
So the meeting wasn't due to take place at Tinderlinder at all, then?
The kid was making a fuss about coming into the office. It's always that way when I want to talk about repayments. Even though I got the best punching bag you ever seen if there's any issues.
Maybe it's because of the punching bag that people are scared to come. So that's why you decided to meet at Tribulations? Huh. You're going over old ground again, Tripe. Sorry. You just earned yourself a penalty. Suck it down. Suck down the penalty, Mr. Right, and you'll like it. Oh my god! Thank you, sir. May I have another? Wow, what? An ugly scene, what do you mean? The witness has already told us, Tripe, which makes that question irrelevant. But... I'll limit myself to 17 cups of coffee during the trial. That's my rule. You better limit the number of times you take a penalty, Tripe. Or your guts will look like the inside of chimney. Ashen. Don't make me burn you again, Mr. Right. Oh my god.
Guess I'm gonna make that special express after all.
So to recap, this ugly scene you saw was... What the heck? Trying to find which one's the right one. You mean you saw Glenn Elk's dead body?
I guess I did, but I only saw him from behind. He was wearing some raggy bit of cloth he called a hat.
What time was this?
I don't know.
Huh?
You know what winds me up more than anything in the world? Watches. Round watches. I'm gonna pollute my paws with some tickling henpecker.
Okay. Out of interest, Mr. Tiga, what winds you up the second most?
Huh? What do you think? Square watches.
This guy for real.
Look, all I need to know was something bad was going down in that place.
I didn't get a penalty for that.
I guess they considered that relevant. Probably because you didn't just repeat what he said already.
Huh. So you didn't actually set foot inside the restaurant then?
The tiger's a busy cat. I don't hang around for no one. I ain't got time to be caught up in no murder investigation.
So, when exactly did you pick up the matches? There are matches just inside the front door. Our detective friend wound up in trouble with the chef after taking 5 books home. Poor Gumshoe. It's almost enough to make a man cry. No penalty for that one either. You went straight back? Did a bout of guilt suddenly hit you for what you did?
Jesus. What are you trying to say? You're trying to tell me you've never been guilty of nothing? Wait, what? Does this come back? Not I'm innocent? Just you're telling me that you weren't guilty?
Guess not. We all have crosses to bear. We all have to swallow the dark secrets we hide. Like this. Courtroom's not exactly a place to talk about dark secrets, is it? Seems you've done it again, Mr. Wright. Another irrelevant line of questioning. I must impose a penalty accordingly.
Did that one just take off too?
How about a penalty for those 2 jokers in the garbage that keep coming up with?
Well, Nick, what do you think?
Running out of ways to avoid the truth. You need to press him fast before he has time to think things through. Gotta come right back at him with a contradiction.
Be careful with what you press him on, though, or you'll get penalized, okay? Well, his main thing is, could he tell that there was trouble from the front door? Right?
Oh, that is true. The dividers. You're something of a loan collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigre?
No one escapes the tiger's clutches.
Well, I'm something of a lie detecting pro. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we got something straight. What's this, Trite? A new line of irrelevant questioning? These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre? From there, your field of vision would have been covered in areas something like this. Indeed, the witness would have clear view of the victim's seat.
Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head.
Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition. Why, that's true. Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision, any customer walking in, ends here. So, from the entrance at Tribulations, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day because you met with him. Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table. But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim, witnessed by Mr. Kudo, was not Glen Elg, but a fake. What? In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade. That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glen Elg, and then impersonated his victim in a performance for Victor Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court. Really?
So who is playing Glen Elg?
Either Viola or Lisa. Probably Viola.
I thought we were doing the Glen Elg one first. Was I not
Yeah, the Glen Elg one.
Yeah. How would Viola play a man? How would she play a man?
I don't know. I was wondering. Oh, the owner?
The owner had to be there. Would be suspicious if the chef suddenly vanished.
Oh, the Lisa?
That's a woman.
It can't be Bruto.
Yeah, Bruto would not be there.
Are we saying it's Tigre?
Yeah. Tigre keeps dressing up those people like every 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going for someone else.
It's pulling him out the scene.
Why can't you pick yourself?
It'd be hilarious to pick yourself so you did it.
Obviously, the killer is Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it. What? Well, witness?
I like how the judge immediately just asked if someone was the killer.
Yeah.
No, that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is king of the jungle. So I dare you to say it again. Come on, you got the guts.
You can't threaten me, Mr. Tigre. It is the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright!
Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You've got guts. I'll give you that.
Mr. Wright! Do not leave me. Handle this alone.
Well, at least it's not Mr. Wright this time.
Huh. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Godot. Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no, no, no. Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee. Yes, it was the waitress who poisoned the coffee. But very impressive, Mr. Godot, waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Huh. Found your pen at last, Troy? It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glenelg, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright. I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glenelg was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also a part of the show. What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well? The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it?
Now we need a waitress.
Who is this woman? Her name is Viola Catervini. She's an employee of Tinder Lender.
You was making a big mistake. Do you know who Viola's grandfather is? You's better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean. Stop shaking, Nick.
Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, had stated the following. There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table, who nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum head was ruptured. And a radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There's only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, once for real and once for show. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed the crime, is you. Witness? What have you got to say?
That's cute.
So sorry?
You was alright. I could do with a guy like you around.
Well, what do you mean?
Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go.
Something to think about.
You've got it all wrapped up nice, huh? Right. But you missed out on one real important thing.
But that can't be.
I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. I can change my testimony as many times as I want. But I couldn't have poisoned him. You're here.
What? You really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre? Huh. What a troublemaker. Troublemaker? Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. One more steaming cup of hot testimony. Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim?
How does he do that? You have to squint with one eye, leave the other one open. And smile. That is a super hard face to make.
What the heck?
Yeah, I loaned out cash. About 100,000. That day, we were due to have a little chat. Get it hit his payback date, see? So anyway, tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy, but he starts screaming. Yes! I won! $500,000! You got lucky, you know? Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she'd done, everything would have been over.
Now I see that the principal amount he loaned to Mr. Elg was $50,000.
You want a loan, Judge? I'll set you up with good interest. Yeah, well, you've got the big to take into account. Insurance bills have kept fast, you know?
That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice its principal. And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question.
Do these normally have deadlines for a payment? I think they want you to keep it out for as long as possible.
Yeah, usually do installments.
Yeah, he was one lucky kid. You got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't had no reason to kill the kid. Now if he didn't win that $500,000, I would have flattened him right there. If I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case.
His motive? He has to have one, but what is it? The waitress, you mean?
The girl with the glasses in the bench chair. Who else could I mean? If she hadn't gotten in the way, things would have been bada bing, bada boom. Done and over with.
Maybe I should push a little on this.
She killed him.
What exactly are you implying the defendant did?
How about you goes ask Four Eyes about that $500,000 ticket? She wanted it so bad. She poisoned Elk's coffee.
A likely theory. Your word hasn't held water lately, Mr. Tigre. Let's not forget this witness was actually at the scene, right?
The law don't exactly agree with some of the deals I send down. I couldn't be there when the cops showed up, so I split.
I see. Your Honor. The witness's last few statements are worth a good 2 cups of coffee. I concur, Mr. Gendoi. You will amend your testimony accordingly, witness.
That's what you after Phoenix. I didn't expect him to amend that statement,
I don't see no statements amended.
Well, he just added a new one. I don't think it's very important, but he added one.
No, seriously, it didn't add any new statements on here.
Oh. I thought he added things to what you did my business. It was over.
Nope. It's not actually in there.
That's odd.
I wonder if I can ask the other thing.
No, he added that one. I don't see it in the original list. I was after 100,000. I didn't have no other reason to kill the guy.
Oh, so I had to go through it again to get it amended.
Not really. It was just the other answer on the one you did before.
Oh.
I'm supposed to ask how things would have been. I didn't know you could just ask to have it amended, though. That's kind of cool.
Huh. But I got you now. As they say in Star Wars, I've got you now. Ba-da-ba-rum. So, you just intended to get back the $100,000 Mr. Elg owed you, correct?
I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right.
Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, $100,000 wasn't enough to cover it, was it?
Huh?
About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter in which a young woman was injured. She was taken to the hospital where she underwent surgery.
Where did you get all this info?
These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million.
I just tried to steal that from you yesterday.
Payment for these expenses was due in December of last year and was paid in full. But $1 million? Preposterous sum. Someone should sue these HMOs. Ha! No one would pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue. But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it.
I like the tiger. The tiger sounds.
Order, order, order. You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright? Indeed it did, simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cataravini. Did you say Cataravini? Ruta Cataverini, my boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cataravini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Cataravini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glen Elg's life to pay your debt. Order, order, order. What do you say to that, witness? It's a nice little fairy tale, right? But even if the witness did need $1 million, that doesn't tie him to Mr. Elg's murder. Mr. Elg only owed him $100,000 and had no hope of repaying it anyway.
Yeah, that guy wasn't worth my spit.
I don't think so. In fact, the opposite is true. The opposite. Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. But, in this case, the very fact that Glen Elg had no way to repay the money is crucial. What?
Do you know where you're going with this, Nick?
You gotta think outside the box, man.
Outside the box?
It's very straightforward. Mr. Tigre wasn't after the $100,000 at all. Seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us? Share with the class? Show and tell. What exactly was Mr. Tigre after? His bike. He killed over Armstrong's one special.
Just over half the amount?
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? It's evidence that Trey has no idea what he's doing. What?
Oh, 3.
Dang! Okay, I was just trying. Thanks for not being there.
There's going to be a break shout penalty.
I don't know. What exactly is Mr. Tigre after?
Didn't Elg have something worth millions?
Yeah, this thing, right? I was trying to do art. Glen Elg was a programmer, highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elg put up in order to borrow the money. Try to explain how skill can be used as collateral to secure a loan, right? He had the skill to create a computer virus, and so he did, a virus known as MC Bomber. Computer virus? What does one of those do? Computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the inside of a computer. A computer? What does one of those do? I guess the beard inside is the only part of his honor that is the Stone Age. I'll explain it to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. A virus like the MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market. Mr. Tigre, you couldn't have cared less about the $100,000, isn't that right? All you cared about was one thing, the virus. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Glen Elg had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened, but it can't, and neither can I. The lottery win. Exactly at the 11th hour, Mr. Elg won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. So he resorted to illegitimate means. That's crazy. He murdered Glen Elg, and then made his next move, to frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tigre posed as Glen Elg, while Viola Cataravini played the role of Miss Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. The witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo. Like I said, Tread, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef could have been kept in the dark about it. But Mr. Armstrong was in on it from the very beginning. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Goodell? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too, $500,000 in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan. Ooh. Order, order, silence.
You just put on a good show, Spiky. If you want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that.
I agree.
You do?
Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out. What? Another one, Mr. Wright. Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite? What was this trick you say, Mr. Tigre, before they ever framed the accused? My badge?
Probably.
Crappy badge? I'm gonna take 4 damage if this is wrong.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
That's probably the only way we have to say it.
What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation.
You are fooled.
Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tigre, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago in this very court, you posed as me. What? That's the truth. But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Although... oh my god. Now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing in here this very court a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I had ever seen. Can you prove that, Gramps?
You're asking the judge to prove it?
Prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man. Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him? Why does the judge have to prove anything?
Hey! Forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that. Not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh?
Have you no pride, sir? This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Trite, here in court we deal with people's lives. Mr. Godot is right. Your Honor, speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by a memory without evidence to support it. No! If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tigre are dubious for sure, but not conclusive.
So we're just gonna let Maggie go to jail?
How's that not conclusive?
It's conclusive enough to put Maggie in prison. But we've come so far.
You say impersonated Glenn Elg, you say impersonated you. But none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee.
Sucks to be you, right? Don't mess with the tiger, or you're gonna get mauled. You's got that.
All we managed to do here was chase him around a bit. But I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt. Huh. Looks like I won't be needing a refill. I just had one more piece of evidence. One more piece of evidence, and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook. This witness's cross-examination is over. You are free to go, Mr. Tigre. Hold it! Yep. Gumshoe!
Your Honor, sir! Wait!
Detective! Detective Gumshoe.
I'm taking the stand. Sorry I took so long, pal. I staked everything on this. My badge, the work. So here it is. My heart's counting on this too, pal. Didn't even look at the evidence yet.
What is it, Detective?
Isn't it obvious, pal? It's the final decisive piece of evidence.
What?
I mean, you only give us like 3 days. How are we supposed to get all this in on time? Wait. Now we're taking a recess? Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got results back from the lab.
The results?
About the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle. Oh, so do you know who the prints belong to now? Do you think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know. So, tell us. They're the tigers, right? I knew it. You bet, pal. Clear as crystal, all over the bottle. The furry tiger's paw prints, alright. That's great. We got him now, Nick. What's wrong with you? You hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick.
I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard for me to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on that bottle now.
Huh? What? Why not, pal?
What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put out poison in Glen Oak's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. And the fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now.
I knew it. No matter how hard I try, I'll never be of any use, pal. Hey, don't be so hard on yourself.
You know, I feel like any normal court in the world would be like, yeah, he's the guilty person.
Yeah. But the thing is, the main thing here is that you're not supposed to be proving who's guilty here. You're just supposed to be proving that there's doubt on Maggie being the killer.
I think there's a lot of doubt that it's Maggie at this point.
So really, she should be free now.
Yeah.
Like, Phoenix pretty much has to prove not only is his client innocent, but another person's a killer, while the prosecution is just constantly helping the killer hide their tracks. It's like very rare that the prosecution is willing to turn around and help him defeat an actual murderer once they realize who it is.
Yeah, really weird.
This is my last chance to help Maggie, pal. And I've been working on some useless piece of evidence the whole time. It's alright. I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal. Detective Gumshoe? Maggie? You've been working on something for me? Sorry I let you down, Maggie. I know you didn't do it. And I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now. Detective Gumshoe, wait!
He's gone.
Isn't there anything we can do now, Nick?
Wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I granted you a recess so you could prepare this decisive evidence you've discovered. Yes. Don't keep us all in suspense, Trite. Show us. Naturally. We can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can't we? Think, Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste.
How much more of my time is you gonna waste? I ain't been to no court before. But you lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion.
No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, will you talk to... You will talk us through it, Mr. Wright. I will talk it through you forever, Judge. Even when you're sleeping.
I just keep having to make the joke that Tigray kept being able to change fatal things in his testimony and everyone just believed him every time.
Yeah.
They gave crap about it, but he just like perfectly stands in court. They agree with his final testimony as long as you can't prove it wrong. Technically, he probably would have been thrown out by like, what, the first or second time he lied?
Yeah. Nevertheless, you'll talk through this. That's right. Well, I know I can't prove anything new with this evidence. I'm really backed into a corner here, but maybe if he thinks he's got me beat, he'll let his guard down a bit. Don't keep us waiting any longer, right?
Well, 4 if you get this wrong.
But it makes it sound like I'm not supposed to present the bottle.
That's the only thing that's new. Unless you want to present the weenies that that guy made. Goshu made. I don't think that will help anything.
No.
It's just funny. I wish they actually responded like to specific evidence sometimes. But yeah, that's the only thing that's new.
Guess so. This is the defense's final piece of evidence. Isn't that the victim? Your Honor, naturally the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. We have clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tigray.
What?
But Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information? Everyone in here knows what this bottle contains, except one man. One person in his courtroom should theoretically be in the dark.
My prints are on that pansy-looking bottle. Is that what you're saying? Well, what the hell's in it anyway?
Funny trial, a funny lawyer, and funny clues. Everything about this case has been funny. Seems like the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. Mr. Tigray, this is a decisive piece of evidence that'll prove your guilt.
Only 2 now.
Why? Because it contains potassium cyanide. It's time out for us to lie. This bottle contains potassium cyanide. Potassium cyanide? The poison used to murder Mr. Elg, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tigray, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that?
You'd make a good clown, you know that?
What?
Yous ain't never gonna get this to stick. You's just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna fool the tiger?
A bluff?
I can see straight through you, Phoenix Wright. That ain't the bottle with the cyanide in it.
No, this is the bottle we found traces of the poison in.
Don't mess with the tiger, or you're gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown, and it was made of glass. That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it.
You just described the bottle that had Maggie's fingerprints on it. So how did you know?
While saying he wasn't in court before.
Yep.
Everyone else is just looking at him in complete shock.
Got him. At last.
What? Why has everyone gone quiet? I said that bottle.
Is this the bottle you're referring to?
Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle the cyanide was in. But yous ain't gonna find my prints on that bottle. Don't let that cozy looking suit fool you people. That lawyer's just playing games. Tell him, Mr. Prosecutor. Tell that guy where to go.
You still haven't figured it out? Don't you realize what you just said?
What I said. What did I just say?
You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with the murder, you shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle the potassium cyanide was in. But just now you slipped up in front of every single person in this courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison.
You just don't know who you're messing with. I'm the tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let some jumped up soup get the better of me?
Sure, the last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve. The phony trial with a phony lawyer. It was all played out by you, the biggest phony of all. Did you just make the power cut out? What's going on?
I think you did, that somehow.
What the? It looks like a blackout.
Good nose is shining.
Well done, Trite. Why are we in the dark now?
To be dramatic?
I saved my 17th cup of coffee just for you.
You threw it at him? Why?
What? Savor it. While you watch the police restrain your prey.
Why didn't you just hand it over?
Yeah, that's weird. Mr. Wright, you caught a tiger by his toe. But if this one hollers, he won't be let go. Judge, come on.
Really?
Now then, how are things going with Mr. Tigre, Mr. Godot? He is being arrested on suspicion of the murder of Glen Elg, Your Honor.
Like, seriously, when you try to accuse someone else, they not only do you prove them wrong in this trial, but also they get another trial. They get 2 trials. Just for not being the first person to be caught.
Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error. Miss Bird was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney. Yes, she was. And in the absence of genuine evidence. Well, the tiger made one mistake. Indeed. He very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue. Furio Tigre is truly a frightening criminal. Ha! The truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there. Good. Well, I am now in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird. Guilt. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Mr. Wright, I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, Maggie. I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble months ago. But now I feel like I can forgive him, even though I know it was a fake now.
Hey, that wasn't me, Maggie. That was a tiger.
Look, Nick. In the doorway.
Detective Gumshoe.
Oh, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around, pal.
Wait.
Detective Gumshoe.
Oh yeah. Congratulations, Maggie.
Thanks.
I knew you were innocent all along.
Why didn't you say that in your testimony then?
Huh? Because he's supposed to stick to the facts. He was summarizing another person's thing.
Hmm.
Well, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around.
Wait up, detective. Just ran off.
Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you.
It's thanks to him we got the medication bottle. That wasn't even of any use. But it's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. Gumshoe was just running around in circles.
Poor guy.
You're right. How dare he not be a genius?
Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him.
Can you put in a good word for him, Nick?
Yeah, Maya's right. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clear he needs it. Maggie? You know Detective Gumshoe has been really worried about you through all this.
I wanted to believe that, sir. But on that first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up. How dare he do his job?
Didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He has to report the facts.
He doubted me. That's why. He thought I might have done it. That's why he did his job appropriately.
Gotta prove to her that Gumshoe really cares. I know, I'll present a little present. There you go, here's weenies. Don't make us eat it. We do not want to eat it.
It's the old weenies.
No, we're not eating it. You're eating it. Here you are, a present to celebrate your freedom. Eat it all.
That's...
Present from Detective Gumshoe, made with a ton of love.
He said you lost weight and he was worried about you.
Detective Gumshoe? I actually really like weenies. You know?
Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know.
Yeah, trial dragged on a bit today, didn't it?
Is it okay if I eat this now?
So, how is it, Maggie?
It's really good.
So the case of funny versus genuine comes to an end. The false allegations surrounding Maggie have all been cleared up.
It only took 1 month.
And who knows? Maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start.
Cute sound.
The end. Edgeworth.
Yeah.
Edgeworth is coming back in?
Edgeworth is the prosecutor for the next one.
Alright. Well, that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you for watching. Have yourself a good day. Bye-bye.